like I don't know why does Ukraine have like such a nationalist president? But anyway,
Why it was again, but
Oh, what? Oh, no shot. No shot that the country right next to Russia has a nationalist presence. What? The country whose identity and people is constantly under threat of being exterminated has a nationalistic presence. Whoa, that's crazy.
do you realize the common thread here was nationalism? Like the real thing that started to really take off that made sure that Jews were just not going to be welcome in Europe was the rise of nationalism, right? And that's why when
yeah,
nationalism spread to the Arab world, Arab nationalism
yes.
was also something that ended up for all these countries excluding Jews. That's why some of these countries, the Jews didn't flee Algeria because of the 48 war. Most of them left after independence. Same with Morocco. Most of them left
Well,
after
no,
independence.
Algeria's because they felt they literally, if you ask Jews in Algeria during the civil war, if they identified as French or Algerian, the majority of them would have said they identified
Yeah,
as
I know.
French.
And that's also because the Algerians didn't want them as Algerians. They literally, the first citizenship law in Algeria did not include Jews for citizenship. Jews would not have had citizenship if they stayed.
By that time they were considered French. So yes. And they had French citizenship and they were
Wait,
seen
so Algeria wouldn't get, so Algeria, do you think Algeria's citizenship laws were justified then? After the revolution?
huh?
Their citizenship law only applied to Muslims, by the way. That's why. Like that's why the Jews didn't get included.
Yeah, I don't necessarily agree with it, but by that time you'd agree that most Algerian. Oh God, I should look. Algeria is such an easy point. If I just read the goddamn in Wikipedia, it said
I mean, it's not actually
you would
that
agree
easy
that
because, again, like there's a reason that those Jews identified closer with France at that point than they would
yeah,
have
they
with their
identify
own
as French. So
locals.
why
Yeah.
would the Algerians want them? Why would the Algerians want them in their country as
Well,
citizens
I'm
when
just
they
wondering. So
identify as
first of all,
Okay, they're talking about Algeria. I know nothing about Algeria. Okay, I don't know about every single fucking Slavic country ever. Okay, um, but I'll probably do some research. Who knows? Okay, wait, hold on. I'll let this play. I gotta throw out my water. My water smells bad now. What the fuck?
I don't know
What's
why
going on?
Algeria wouldn't offer citizenship to the Jews who want to stay. That's kind of weird. Not every single
yeah.
Jew
Well,
wanted to like.
I think most okay. More than 90% of Algerian Jews opted for France. 90%.
Yeah, but why would you pass your citizenship law to exclude the Jews who want to stay?
Not because they were persecuted, but this is what the Wikipedia says. But because they had so deeply internalized their Frenchness that they considered their destiny linked to French. The reason Algerians didn't want them to stay was because they had resentment for I would say probably they had resentment for the Jews because they got citizenship and they were seen as collaborators.
They were
That's
seen
what
as
I'll
collaborators, even though the majority of them weren't, right?
and I'd have to
Well, this is, by the way, I can
more
just give you the words of the FLN spokesperson who said it was their neutrality that made them worthy of
Yeah,
like
okay, yeah. The
repercussions.
neutral siding. Yeah, neutral's basically siding. Yeah, if you're neutral during like if you're neutral during a if you're neutral in an anti-colonial movement, yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, obviously they would hold
Please, it can
yeah, you
if you
should not
get
be
water from
neutral.
a
How
watermelon
can
in
I
a
say it?
sink. No, not
Yeah, so they
sink.
should have
Yeah,
decided with the group that they also considered their oppressors, which was
It's bottled water, which is especially weird.
the locals. For the Jews,
well,
there's two oppressions. There's the ones of the French, and there's the ones of the Muslims.
no, the French Muslim Algerians were far more oppressed than the Jewish
It's
Algerians.
not a
They had citizenship.
competition. Do you blame Jews for standing neutral in Algeria?
No, I don't blame. I can understand why, but yeah, since they are neutral, they're seen as collaborators. Since they did not side with the FLN,
Yeah.
which any Algerian should do. But it says here they
Okay, from what I know of Algeria, isn't it the case that Algeria was like a Nazi puppet state, kind of? Because Algeria was under France and France was under Germany at the time, but then it's not entirely. and then the Jews faced a lot of discrimination in Algeria. Sorry, it's not a Slavic state. It's not a Slavic state, okay? Just want to be clear, okay? Sorry. I was talking about Slavic states. It's not a fucking Slavic state.
It says in the Wikipedia page they did not leave due to prosecution, and it has a source. But because they had so deeply
Okay.
internalized
I
their
mean,
Frenchness that they considered their destiny linked to French. Although some went to Israel by 1960, not fewer than 1,000 Jews. By 90, because of lack of officials, countries, synagogues were closed, having been converted into mosque libraries.
so
yeah,
Wikipedia
North
said that
Africa
there
under
wasn't because of
Italy? Oh,
oppression, that there wasn't persecution.
okay.
yes, when I look at history of Jews in Algeria, yes,
That's
because
funny.
they internalized their Frenchness.
Well, if they wanted to stay, they wouldn't have got their citizenship anyway, would they? Because there were some.
Well, that's
Not
'cause
every
they're-
Jew wanted to
that's
go to
'cause they're
France. I
neutral.
think it was like
That's 'cause they're
100% of
neutral.
them. But you know,
Most
they
of
didn't.
them did. Most of them.
Yeah, but
Most of them were
again, I don't know
identified
why
more as
you're
French.
I don't know why you're combating on this. You shouldn't just say because most people want to leave, we're just only going to exclude like
I'm not agreeing
non-Muslims
with
from
the action. I'm
citizenship.
just
Yeah.
saying, the majority of Algerians saw them as collaborators because they were neutral, and they shouldn't be neutral they should not be neutral when the French was like committing massacres and being and unjustified occupying your land. You should not be neutral in that situation.
Are you aware that when the Jews initially accepted citizenship in the 1870s, that most Muslim leaders didn't actually oppose that?
Well, Muslim leaders in Algeria?
Yep.
Or like around the world, around
No, the
Muslim
leaders in
world,
Algeria, yes, Muslim leading figures in the 1870s didn't actually really care that much or oppose Jews taking citizenship in 1870 from the French. Because again, Jews were outsiders. Yeah, that's like they were always considered a bit outside or inferior.
Personally, I think they should have offered citizenship to Jews who denounced the French.
Okay.
To the Jews who denounced the French. So that's a mistake I think they made. They should have offered citizenship. I don't know how much would have stayed. Even if they did, do you think a lot of them would have stayed if they did, or do you think the vast majority would have still gone to France?
I think it's probably by that point they would have probably preferred France, but
fucking Palestinian alarm clock.
I mean, if things had changed earlier, then they would have preferred to. They would have probably identified more with their home, because most people don't want to leave their homeland. Like usually, most people like to stay close enough to where they were born, especially in those days.
At that point, it was kind of it was on the French rule, and they consider them so why would and they consider themselves more French? So why would they want to choose a place that's not on the French rule after the FLN kicked them out? So I don't know.
I know it's maybe a tall order to try to stick to one single point, but why did you say I was a Jewish exceptionalist? What does that mean, first of all? I don't know this phrase.
Jewish exceptionist, it means somebody that, basically like a Jewish supremacy. This is what it means. So this is what I think. Just because the majority of Jews agree with this is what I get. Just because the majority of Jews agree with something, that thing cannot be criticized, or you cannot call.
When did I say that? When did I say that every opinion that majority of Jews hold should be never criticized?
Or you cannot say that like the majority of the people can be considered like this type of thing. I should have done on a video of it. I know that one bad YouTuber has.
I feel like we've already been over this argument though, because I asked you then, okay, if you think Zionism is fascism or Zionism is Nazism, then why do you feel uncomfortable with saying that most Jews in the world are kind of like Nazis? You find something uncomfortable with this take, because if it was a majority of Germans, you wouldn't have a problem saying most Germans are Nazis. But with Jews, even you have a hesitancy.
I'm not uncomfortable with saying that the majority of Jews have I disagree with the majority of Jews, and I think they have bad positions on this.
But why are you so soft? Do you think Zionism is like fascism, right?
Yeah, the thing is, it's hard. It's hard because like
why don't you think so? Why aren't you comfortable saying that you think the majority of Jews in the world are just kind of fashy right now?
It's like Zionism like encompasses like a big like political spectrum.
So Zionism is not fascist inherently?
This is such a good question, right? Like, if most Jews in the world are supportive of Israel, are most Jews in the world... This is such a, easy, logical connection that anybody can give, right? If most Jews in the world have had Zionist thoughts before, 99% of Jews, then Is it not the case that you can say most Jews have had fascisty thoughts before? It's really pretty simple, no?
If you believe that Israel should exist as an ethno-state, then yes.
Well, as a Jewish
Then-
majority
then-
state, yes, that's the basis of Zionism. It's the most basic definition of Zionism. You think Israel has a
most
right to
people-
exist as a Jewish state? Yes.
Do all Jews have that definition of Zionism? No, that's just, they have different.
I mean,
some
that's the
have,
most. That's like the most generous definition. Unless do you think when 65% of like UK Jews call themselves Zionists, do you think they're talking about binational one state? Like, no, they're talking about Israel's right to exist as a Jewish state.
Yes, I do think. Yes, I do think that. Yeah.
Based on what?
But no, I do think that the majority of Jews have fascist-like opinions when it comes to Israel. Yes.
So most Jews in the world right now are just kind of fashy in your world.
Yes, when it comes to Israel, yes. When it comes to Israel, due to
Well, at least he eventually bit down the bullet.
social conditioning and what they've gone through in the past, yes.
Do you think Zionism is
They've gone-
Nazism? Do you think Zionism is Nazism?
I think
I think then the next question is, how do you define anti-Semitism? If you conclude that most Jews are fascists, right? Have fascistic beliefs when it comes to Israel. What do you think anti-Semitism is? That's the next logical conclusion, right?
fascism. I wouldn't necessarily say Nazism. I would say it's an ultra nationalist right. It is a right wing movement. It's a right wing movement. Everybody considered it at that time a right wing movement. Lenin called it. Lenin was based. He was against.
Okay, so again, that's why then. Like, but I just wondered why it's so difficult for you to say this, because if Jewish exceptionalism is an issue, then they shouldn't be treated differently from any other ethnic group. But why do you hesitate for so long to say that Jews are just mostly kind of fashy right now?
When it comes to Israel, yes, but I can understand why they hold that opinion due to the metric tons of propaganda they have, like in schools.
So most Jews are kind of fashy because they're propagandized.
And what they've gone through in history, yes, when it comes to
So
the
history made most Jews kind of fashy.
Well, yeah, what they've gone, what their people have gone through during history, yes.
Okay.
What their people have gone through during
I'm very impressed that you were able to actually finally bite that bullet, because it took a really long fucking time. But also, I would maybe want you to reflect on the Jewish exceptionalism that makes it so difficult for you to apply this to this ethnic group. But whereas you wouldn't have had such a difficulty saying that about like Germans if the majority of them were fascist. But in any case, why am I a Jewish exceptionalist? What does that mean?
Oh yeah, there's a video on it. Holy crap! But it's only from that one bad YouTuber, so I didn't watch it. Probably another YouTuber has a video on it. Why are you a Jewish? So yeah, because you think giving Palestinians equal rights is anti-Semitic.
Yeah, what did I say? What did I say like 10 seconds after that sentence?
Because you think the Palestinians will come out and just
did I say it was? When did I say anything about raping?
Well,
oh, that was you editorializing. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Yeah, I said, so you acknowledge I don't think it's inherently anti-Semitic. Okay, one person, one vote is not inherently anti-Semitic. Okay, you acknowledge that?
Yeah.
The reason I said that, which is admittedly provocative, wouldn't normally say it, is because it would yield anti-Semitic outcomes.
I disagree. I don't think it would yield anti-Semitic.
Yeah. Do you think so? Okay, then I want you to commit to this one statement. Then Palestine in your world would be the first Arab or Muslim majority country in the last 100 years that would treat its Jewish minority well.
Yes, you can do it. I'm not saying one state right now, but
wait.
Okay. This guy, you know what? I'm just glad he bit down the bullet, okay?
Wait. What did the clip say? Did he say one state in the future or one state now? He said one state now. Oh, so you have my position. But you have my position. I don't know what to say. It's funny how that happens, isn't it? Yes, everyone, even Hasan, despite how stupid he pretends to be when he's discussing people like me. Yeah, you understand this. You understand that right now, if Jews had to become a minority in Palestine as one state, yes, quite a bit of anti-Semitism would happen. Yes, that would yield anti-Semitic outcomes right now.
Yeah, right now. But like,
okay, so you have my position. I'm so happy. Listen, so you're Jewish. You're just as much of a Jewish exceptionalist as me, apparently. If that's the case, okay. Next.
Oh, okay. I just went. I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. There should be. I'm sorry. I need to be more prepared on the Jewish exceptionalism problem.
Yeah, so, in other words, we call the Jewish question, actually. Obviously not anti-Semitic, but we call it the Jewish question over here. All right, let's give it a name. Let's call it the Jewish question. Okay.
Oh yeah, the Nazi stuff, saying that Zionists should be treated as neo-Nazis, also fascists. You're saying that's anti-Semitic. Even Klein says that, and he says, "Oh my God, 70% of Jews think that are Zionists." Yeah, that doesn't matter. That it doesn't matter.
Okay, weird impression, but okay.
When you say and people have said like, "Oh, you'll never apply this towards Palestinians and the positions they hold." Like for example, when you say Hamas supporters should be treated as terrorists. Well, some people do say that. I don't know if you say that.
No, I don't say that.
Would you okay, no. What would you say? Hamas supporters. What have you said? You've said bad stuff about Hamas supporters. You say Hamas supporters like
when I typically attack Hamas supporters, it's like the English-speaking ones. The ones in Palestine have an excuse. I've met Hamas supporters in Palestine.
Okay,
I interviewed, for some reason, my Hasbara handler just decided to take a detour, and they were like, "Hey, look, I know I work for the state of Israel, and I'm like Mossad and shit, but I know this is an Israel propaganda tour, but I think we should go into the West Bank and talk to some Hamas supporters and like have a friendly conversation with some of them." Like that's it. I don't know why they did that. That was just a blip, but okay.
Answer this question. So you're fine with Palestinians being Hamas supporters?
I can understand why they are. I don't think I would want to like discriminate against them or treat them like fucking Nazis, which especially if you're like a far left person, because these are the same people who say you should punch Nazis. Like, no, I don't think I should do that. No. I think there are a million reasons a Palestinian might feel like sympathy for Hamas or want to support them.
People like said Sam use that meaning that thing. Anyway, going on Sam Hyde. Yeah.
What is he talking about right now?
Give that guy clout. Anyways, I don't know why I went on Sam Hyde because it's just all about punching Nazis. He's
okay. All right.
He's a pedophile as well. We're just gonna bring that up so you can. But yeah.
Dude, he's dude. This guy, dude, is this guy on something? I feel like this guy has to be on something, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
He dated like a 16-year-old and did horrible stuff when he was like 30.
Fuck.
So yeah, he's a pedophile Nazi. But yeah, and that's the guy
pedophile Nazi.
It's just as well you said that because most people in this community thought Sam Hyde was based. I'm joking.
No, I'm joking. Well, actually, community very adjacent to yours. When the Sam Hyde call out did happen, we're all praising him. But that.
Everyone, please sign for Aura if you want that Foodshops raise and charisma. Also, I like the scarf today, Foodshops. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I worn the scarf like a billion times in the past. Okay. Yes, true. Sign for Aura.com/Foodshops. It's one of the best ways you can do to support me. You get VPN, antivirus, all that cool stuff. All right, sign up. Aura.com/Foodshops.
But you.
I mean, I think people might have said it was funny, but like, I don't think there's any respect for Sam Hyde in this community. Like, fucking hell.
And that guy's community brought him on and laughed and like stuff like that. So yeah, that community is just anti. I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm bringing him up.
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay. Listen.
When does the Aura sponsor end? Not that I want it because I love Aura, but when will it end? Like me saying this stuff, it's forever until I get like more sponsors, I guess.
You're not okay. Can I just give you a fast forward on the Jewish exceptionalism and hopefully you arrive at it?
What? Why would I drop a sponsor? What the fuck? Why would I do that? Huh? What are you talking about?
The same position roughly as me at some point. Listen, Jews have been okay. First of all, I don't think it would be. I think even in this tweet that was being used, if most Jews in the world wanted to fucking genocide all the Palestinians, then yeah, you'd probably be quite justified to
wouldn't. I
hate
didn't know
most
you'd get
Jews.
them
Yeah, of
forever.
course you would. Like, why the fuck
Yes.
would they want that? However, when we talk about Jewish exceptionalism and the complaints that people make, the reason that people say, if you want to treat all Zionists as Nazis, that might yield some kind of
Right,
uncomfortable
yeah, well, that
conclusions
does.
because the logical
Healthy
conclusion
base.
of that is that most Jews should be treated like Nazis. And then you're like, how did I end up in a world where most Jews should be treated like Nazis? And then I'm thinking, well, maybe it's because Zionism is not the same as Nazism. It's not even fucking close. And then you might ask questions
What?
like,
Well, you shouldn't
if you're
have the
talking
ability of-
about challenging, and then if you're talking about it being a bad opinion, so like, oh yeah, maybe sure, most Jews believe this thing, so what? It's still okay to hate them for that, or to attack those opinions, etc., or to even be like,
If you're okay enacting violence against Zionists and most Jews are Zionists, what is the logical connection here?
almost discriminatory
I can't figure it
against
out.
them consequently because of those opinions. But
I
the
can't
problem
figure
is
it out,
that
guys.